Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. My name is Talisha and I also go by CreativiTeeByT, and I have a lot of sewing things to catch you all up with, such as the new patterns that I've purchased while I've been gone, everything that I made for vacation, because I did it again. I made quite a few things for vacation. I recently went on the sorority sewing retreat, so I'd like to catch you up with everything that I accomplished while at the retreat and everything that I purchased during the shopping trip at the sewing retreat. So a recap as well of what we did while we were there. So yes, all of those things, but those subjects will not be for today's video because I had a deadline of July 27th, 2025 to post a project for what I'm going to share with you today. And because I got sick and lost my voice, I picked something up at the airport. I couldn't post it on that date, and then I was going to post a reel, and I had like a little bit of a relapse, lost my voice, all those things. And so I just said, you know what, I'm just going to wait it out because I have to the 31st or anyone to participate in this project, which is the pattern hackathon. So yes, that is what today's video is all about, the pattern hackathon. If you don't know about the pattern hackathon, this is a challenge that has been hosted for several years, I believe, by Kris of On Social, and she is both on YouTube and on Instagram. And the purpose of this challenge is to hack a pattern by using an already produced pattern and putting your spin or your little twist on it. And for the challenge, there was a focus for 5 weeks, and for week 1 it was KISS, and I believe it stands for Keep It Simple. And then week 2 was Black Magic. Week 3 was menswear. Week 4 was size inclusive. And then week 5 was for knits. And although there were focuses, you could hack a pattern however you want it. And there have been many posts on Instagram. There's been videos here on YouTube with wonderful creative hacks. So please search the hashtag Pattern Hackathon 2025 to see all of the beautiful makes. And also make sure you follow Kris of On Social here on YouTube and on Instagram if you haven't already. She is absolutely hilarious. She has a very great sense of humor. She makes beautiful garments, and her channel not only inspires, but she also offers fitting knowledge and more. So she's very talented, and she has a lot of information to share, and I enjoy her channel. So again, I will link her information down below, so definitely make sure you follow her. And yeah, so I'll go ahead and talk about my hack contribution, what I made and why. So we got a little story time. So my hack did not come from any of the 5 categories that I just mentioned about the hack. And although there were categories, you did not have to sew from them. So it was on purpose, okay? But it definitely fits into the 2 categories, which is the KISS, Keep It Simple, and the size inclusive. So here's the story. As myself and my family were preparing for our vacation, because the whole family goes, not just my family in my household, but our whole family, anyone that wants to go. As we were preparing for vacation, I wanted to search for a dress to help my niece out. So I was on my lunch hour and I went to a store and I noticed that a dress that would be nice for her, in my opinion. And I actually adored the dress. Okay, so it wasn't so much the color but the style, and I thought, oh, that would be so nice on me. Now mind you, I'm supposed to be shopping for her, but I start thinking about me. I looked through all of the sizes, and of course my size was not there, but I had already purchased a skirt pattern like this, and I thought to myself, I could just make this myself by hacking it. And that was gonna be my pattern hackathon project because I had already had communication with Kris about it. So after, a week or 2 of me making that decision, our wonderful Simplicities released their summer patterns, and lo and behold, the same exact dress that I was going to make was released as a pattern. Now that pattern is this Simplicity 3132 right here, and it's the black view right here, which is view B. There's also a smaller size packet in this here, so yeah, needless to say, I didn't want that to be my project, and I needed a new hack because, you know, I didn't want people to think, oh, she didn't hack it, she used the pattern, right? And the whole goal is to hack a pattern. So while I'm still on this bubble trend, this bubble skirt trend, because that's pretty much why I like it, I'm into all these bubble skirts, I was on Pinterest and I noticed this red dress that I love, and I'm going to insert a photo. I fell in love with that, and I actually searched to see if it was ready to wear. Of course, not in my size. So I searched all of the patterns that I could think of, and I even looked up independent patterns, and this is not a pattern yet. Okay, so I said to myself, I'm gonna do this for my project, right? You know, I needed it hacked still. I hadn't decided on anything, so I decided I was gonna do that. Now, while thinking of how to hack a pattern to get this dress, I thought about my favorite summer jumpsuit pattern, which is McCall's 8069. It's over here, so let me grab it really quickly. And this is that pattern. I have made this pattern several times. Okay, so I was thinking I could just turn that pattern into a dress, right? And then a thought came to me when I was falling asleep, and I had remembered seeing like a sister pattern to the jumpsuit that was a dress. And so I pulled my phone out, I searched the McCall section on Simplicity, and lo and behold, I came up on McCall 7405, and I'm gonna just put it in the screen. So I dug the pattern out of my pattern stash, and I went to work by taking this inspiration picture photo and this pattern to make this dress. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed the little b-roll of the dress. I did record the entire process of making this dress for the most part, but I don't think I'm going to like include it in this video or anything, so that I can keep this video at a reasonable length. But in short, the main things that I changed about this pattern to make this dress was, one, I cut out the dress twice so that I could have the main fabric and a lining. My lining is pink, as you can see, and I did that intentionally so that I can share that, so that it could be noticeable. And you know, sometimes linings pop, and I thought that, you know, pop out, and I thought that would be a nice pop of color too. So, but we're going to use these cuts of fabric. This is Waverly Inspirations by Walmart for crafting, quilting, apparel, and home decor projects. So that's the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did is I cut the lining 6 inches shorter than the actual dress. Although I will say I wish I had cut it shorter because I wanted my dress shorter, but you know, we're hacking and learning at the same time. So the third thing I did was I widened the flare of the dress by 4 inches on each side, which, you know, comes out to about 16 inches in total. I only used like a 1/4 inch of seam allowance, so you know, not much was taken off. Okay, and I just widened that to kind of, you know, make it a little wider, so that when I gathered it in, then you know, it could get more of like a crinkle effect. So the fourth thing that I did was, like I just mentioned, I gathered the hem of both the dress and the lining to get that scrunched bubble effect. and I just made 2 rows of basting stitches and pulled it in, and I just kind of winged it, you know, as far as like how much I pulled it in. So the 5th thing that I did was I used bias tape as the drawstring, and you'll see that in the pictures, but I did go ahead and sew the real drawstring because it was giving tacky. It kind of like start fraying, you know, which was rare. It's an Amazon bias tape. I think I got it close by. Yeah, it was this bias tape right here, and it's fine when you sew with it, but when I stretched it out and pulled it, you know, it wasn't so good. So yeah, I did take the time, as you can see right here, to make the correct drawstring from the fabric, because I wasn't working. The 6th thing that I did was I changed the armhole opening from a V shape or like an upside down triangle to our normal armhole shape by curving the armhole, and I raised it by 2 inches because it was way too low. I'm busty, I wear big bras, so that wasn't gonna work. So if you look at maybe I'll throw it in the screen, but on the line art, I'll show you the line art on the screen. You'll see where the V goes down, and on, like, if you look on Instagram and things like that, you will see where the armhole just goes all the way down. You know, I could pull this up more, so what you saw was just because, you know, I don't have it super tight right now, but I just curved this on the front and the back, and I've actually done that with the McCall's 7755 because that's just a big issue with those patterns. Alright, so it may seem like a simple pattern, you know, like this learn to sew pattern really shouldn't need all of those changes to get the dress that I made, but it really did. It really did need those changes in order to get this dress, and I left one step out, and that I really should have put into it, but I just felt like I didn't need it, and I found out that I did. So if you decide to recreate this hack, I would suggest that you sew in tulle at the base of the dress, or, you know, skirt, whatever you're doing, in between the lining and the fashion fabric or your main fabric, however you want to call it, because I believe that would have given it like the big poof and flare that it really needs. Also, just make sure you use a stiff or a more structured fabric when you're making something like this. So like in Cara, or even this was fine. This was 100% cotton. I just feel like I feel like I still needed some more poof, so I feel like adding that tulle for the bubble at the bottom would have just took the bubble effect up a notch. However, I will say that I am very happy with how mine turned out, especially since I winged everything off the top of my head. And the only tricky part I would say about this is connecting the bottom hems because of how the fabric needs to be turned out. It's like you're almost taking the fabric and going like this and sewing it, you know, until it connects, if that makes sense. You know, you're taking the right, you're to say that it's kind of hard to explain. If you've ever done it, you know what I mean, when you're flipping something out and then you're sewing it until it finally meets up like this. Now, like I said, I filmed the process, but because I was so laser focused, I didn't get that part. I forgot to hit record. But if I do publish the sew along, I will just cut a smaller pieces of fabric, you know, like a dress size that would fit like a little girl, and show you how to do it on that video, and so that you can kind of get an idea. But if y'all want the sew along, you have to let me know in the comment section below, okay? But in general, this pattern, like I said earlier, it is a learn to sew pattern, so it is easy. It's super easy, especially if you just make it the way it is. And because this is like the jumpsuit that I have sewn at least 5 times, this is easier. This pattern is easier. So the only thinking that I had to do was how to actually make the hack work, you know. So yeah, it was pretty simple. So I guess that would be another suggestion, is just use a pattern that you're familiar with or familiar with construction with, so that all you have to do is think about how to make it work. So outside of the length being longer than I wanted it to be by about 4 inches, and not sewing the tulle between the 2 layers of fabric, I am satisfied. I am satisfied. And the reason why I feel like it should have been shorter is because I feel like the bubble pops on these bubble dresses and bubble skirts when it's a little shorter. The longer length, I don't know if it's because it's closer to the ground, but I just feel like it kind of throws it off. But again, I am satisfied. You know, the color is vibrant, it's modest, yet still giving, you know, sexy and trendy at the same time. So yeah, I'm here for it, and I'm not upset. Sorry, something dropped on the side. But I'm not upset about the make, and I am considering though shortening this dress, but I didn't make the adjustment like for this video to like make it shorter because I needed to take my pictures basically and I needed to post the project, and it was going to rain for like the rest of the week, and I didn't want to take the chance of not having the photos. And that was actually last week, okay, and then I still didn't get it posted and I didn't get it posted because of my voice going out. But you know, I'm still contemplating on opening the hem and cutting the lining and the fashion fabric shorter and adding the tulle. And I still haven't actually closed the lining on the inside. I still have that like 5-inch gap opening, just because I hadn't made that decision yet. But if I do, I will be sure to come back and share with you the difference, the before and after. So yeah, I think I'm gonna do that because I just want to see how that would really work out. So I'll definitely share. So do I feel like I accomplished my inspired look? I would say almost on a scale of 1 to 10. I would say it's an 8. I do think that making it shorter and adding the tulle would have made all the difference in making it look exactly like the inspiration photos. So I lost a point each for those. So that's 2 points missing, 1 for the length being too long and 1 point for the tulle not being in there. So I'm gonna give it an 8. But hey, this color gives me some extra credit though, so maybe it's a 9. Yes, this here dress is my contribution to the Pattern Hackathon 2025, hosted by Kris of Unsocial, here on YouTube and on Instagram. And although this dress seems simple, this hack did get my wheels spinning, you know, and because it wasn't like a simple hack, just like adding sleeves from another pattern or omitting sleeves, or, you know, just adding a ruffle and that's it. You know, I did several things. I named the 6 things that I did to hack this pattern, and you know, even down to connecting, lining, you know, I mean, I had some steps, okay? So I'm pretty proud of the outcome and the experience that I had while making this, and I will continue, like I said, to perfect this. I do want to make it right. And so thank you so much, Kris, for inviting me in on this challenge. This is the first year that I have participated in this challenge, and I will continue to support it as Kris continues to bring this to the sewing community. I think it's a good idea to learn how to, you know, perfect your skills, or, you know, bring your skills and test your knowledge, so that in the future, if there's something that you want that there's no pattern for, you can figure out how to do it, especially when we're in these uncertain times of possibly, you know, not getting the big 5 patterns at some point, you know, and I hope that does not happen. But, you know, this is a great challenge to, you know, get you up to speed. So anyways, please let me know what you think about the hats in the comment below. Also, let me know if you have made a dress like this or hacked a dress like this, and if so, what worked for you. Yeah, just give me all the details, and if you have any suggestions for me, just let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please take a pause for the calls and click that like button and the subscribe button and great notification bell if you enjoy this type of content, so that you can be notified of future videos. And again, I have some content coming from you all. Last year you all seemed to enjoy the recap of the sewing retreat, so you will be getting that. Again, the haul from the retreat, the patterns that I made for vacations, the things that I made during the retreat, and the accomplishments that I was able to, you know, get done while there, because not only did I make some things, but I was able to prep and get other things ready for the future. So yeah, I'm back, y'all. I'm back. You know, I was gone because I traveled, and then I got sick, because y'all know I pick up every germ that there is to pick up in the United States of America. So tired of that, but I'm back, y'all. All right, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all of my new subscribers for your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.